Hey people, I'm Little Deer here, and today I'm doing a tips and tricks video for World Conqueror 4. So, right now we're going to be focusing on Conquest, and just some easy countries to play. First of all, Germany is probably the easiest country to play as in 1939 and 1943. Like in 1939, you start off with loads of good generals and good units, and then you also have a good economy, so you can build better generals and other units quickly. Like over here we have Manstein and Mayer, as well as many other generals around here. So you're a very good starting position, and then you can quite easily conquer the enemy surrounding you. Another a good one to play is the UK, because you start off with lots of colonies around the world, and while in the short term it will be quite hard to hold all of them, in the long term they'll allow you to have a foothold everywhere. Like, I can help defend China from the Japanese, same with the Soviets here, using my Southeast Asian colonies. I can fight the Italians and Spanish in Africa. I, of course, have a large navy and can quickly land in Africa, or in rather France and Belgium, to assist them, and I can use my navy to attack their forces, as well as I have a decent economy. And you start off with some decent navy generals, well, actually some good navy generals and some decent land generals, so you can fight quite well. Surprisingly, places like India and Australia are actually quite good as well, because you're cornered off and you're able to send your troops to fight. For example, India, you can send your troops to fight the Japanese. Then once they're dealt with, you can send and go and fight the main Axis force in Europe. And then for Australia, you can basically do the same thing, attack the Japanese, and then probably sail over to Africa and help them there. Another very high economy nation is the Soviets, because of how vast their country is. Now, they are actually quite hard to play as, because while they do have a lot of territory, it's very low productivity. Like, most of their territory is level 1 cities, you're not actually getting much money. Well, you have to protect a lot of territory. Like here, you're defending against a pretty large Japanese force. And you don't actually start off with that amazing of an army. Well, you have to protect so much. And your navy is abysmal. It's literally just those 2 ships. But your main problem here is going to be Germany. Because if they can spam tanks and take you, yeah, they've won. There's basically no way for the Allies to defeat them. And you have enemies in a lot of borders, so the Soviets aren't that easy to play as. Though you can do very well with them. Anyway, in domination, a very good way to earn medals is to watch the ads and to do the invasions. Now currently I've done all my invasions, so I can't do those right now to demonstrate, but also another good way is to do these battles and exercises. So I get 150 medals if I can complete this. Now they are quite hard, so be prepared to try for these. So anyway, if I can complete those, you get loads. And another very useful way is to do these general missions. Now, I've done all of them except the final Rommel mission. And they're generally pretty easy. Like Dowding, Rundstedt, and Konev over here are actually quite easy. But ones like Rommel and to some degree Nimitz can be harder. Anyway, back to Conquest. I've recently unlocked 1950. I'm currently doing a China campaign. But when you play this as the communist side, you will encounter lots and lots of spam from NATO, and particularly in the naval side of things. NATO just has a giant navy. Anyway, you will probably need, as China at least, taking over all this land is pretty easy. Japan goes easily, South Korea goes easily, and the same with Australia. And you can take these cities. Now, I actually sent a landing force to take LA, but they got defeated by the giant navy that's up here. And they will, Canadian and United States forces will land in the USSR. But your main focus is probably going to be Europe. So I sent some infantry over here to try and take a city so I can produce troops. That's what I've done, and then I've sent some generals over. And now I've secured a foothold, and NATO is on the back foot and they're falling back. Anyway, so as NATO, it's going to be your main concern is to defeat the Soviets. Once you've defeated the Soviets, the Chinese will prove a bit of a problem, but once you've defeated them, they won't be able to stop you. As for these other Middle Eastern nations, they won't be able to stop you either. And Africa basically starts completely in your hands. Now, as the Chinese, for some reason NATO hasn't taken this part, the Horn of Africa, for some reason. I don't really know. Now, what I've done here as the Chinese is I've paratrooped into these places and then put loads of bunkers and land forts so that I kind of block the French from sending reinforcements. Anyway, in scenario missions, you can go over them here. They generally, the Allied sides, or like their equivalent, so NATO and whatever it is for the modern war, they are generally easier. Though not always. Like for Cold War, I've actually found the communist side to be much easier, at least for mission 1. Anyway, thank you for watching. I'll see you next video, and goodbye.